Kirk Douglas, Kirk Douglas, Kirk Douglas. A friendship forged in music, a partnership in its fourth decade, a lifetime in pursuit of the perfect song, and a community built along the way. 14 studio albums and another one in the wings. The band is Skydiggers. This is Employee of the Myth. Episode 7, Employee of the Myth. And now, in conversation with Jane Gowan of the Music Buddy podcast, Andy Maize and Josh Finlayson. Skydiggers.
This is part 2 of Employee of the Myth, and this is the second group of songs. And it starts out of the gate with a super fun, upbeat, I don't know, I'd call it a kitchen party number. Kind of a Josh, is written by you, Josh, right?
Mm-hmm.
Classic. Yep. Double harmonies all the way through, called Employee of the Myth. Would you consider this to be an Appalachian tinge song? There's violin and banjo all over there.
Well, it was certainly written with the intention of being very bluegrassy, and I had recorded a version of it, which was more like that. But with Joby, bluegrass isn't really his forte, although Daniel Lapp is definitely well versed in that. Yeah. So we did, when we started recording it, I think I was playing it more in that style, and then we had a little break. Andy and Joby got COVID, and I ended up going to Daniel's place on Pender Island, and he had a piano there, and he has tons of instruments, and I ended up thinking, maybe we should try it with a different feel. So this feel was more, this reminds me of the Who tune, The Feel is
Mama's got a squeeze box she wears on her
that
chest.
Was sort of the reference point, I think. And of course that's a reference point to many other feels. And so we when we came back from it was about 4 or 5 days or a week or whatever it was, we reconvened and we tried it with that feel, and that was definitely more up Joby's alley as well, and it was different, which I was happy about, because that's sort of a good sign that a song could work in different ways. So
that's right. Well, a lot of your songs can, like a lot of them translate to acoustic or full band or whatever.
Right.
And Daniel's playing again, so great, banjo and violin. Is there mandolin on there too? Or?
I think so, yeah. I think he played mandolin as well on it.
Sounds so great. And your harmonies, you've been playing together now for however many years, 35. Like, have you worked on blending your harmonies? Because you've both got really unique voices. Is it something that just happened right from the get-go? Did you blend well, or is it something you've had to work on?
That's a good question. We both have very distinctive voices, and sometimes the blend works better at times than other times, and so we just we accept that, and hopefully we hear it before others do. When it's working, I think it's pretty obvious to us, and when it's not working, we keep trying to smooth it out or whatever,
or we just don't do it,
or then we end up but we try and it works better on some things than others.
So if you're playing live one night and you find it's not working, does somebody just back off?
We usually get to that decision before we play it live.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm definitely not intuitively a harmony singer, I don't have that, which I think Andy is more, and Peter Cash was definitely more of a harmony singer. Yeah. And of course now with Jessie singing with us, she sings circles around all of us, and she I think she also, when the three of us sing together, that really kind of fills in something between our voices, which I think is pretty great.
And Derek Brady's a pretty great.
Derek is also a
backup singer too.
Singer.
Yeah, he adds that kind of smooth element in there.
Yeah, kind of like Wayne in the early days with Wayne had that kind of voice too.
Right.
Not I don't mean this to sound the way it's going to sound, but there's not a ton. He can sing without a lot of personality, which neither Josh nor I can do. The personality is kind of overwhelms the sound for the two of us. But they have great voices for fitting in. Blending, yeah. Not a lot of, not a lot of vibrato.
Yeah.
Like when you listen to, say, you listen to a cappella versions of the Beach Boys in the studio, you hear how little vibrato there is in their voices.
Right.
Because the vibrato, and as I age, my vibrato, I can't control it, so I'm starting to sound like Katharine Hepburn at times.
Oh,
or
really?
something, that. So it
What are you talking about?
so it can really stick out when you're trying to do a harmony.
Huh. Are you getting a Boston accent too as you go older?
Yes, darling, I am. Bobby Orr.
But but with Josh, you've talked about how Andy's encouraged you to sing in the past and kind of given you maybe more self-confidence with your voice. Have you had what kind of relationship do you have to your own singing voice? Because you do sing less than Andy on as
Well,
leads.
I think of him as the singer of the band anyway, so I don't really, and I think it became, especially around Desmond's, because I wrote a lot of those songs, and he ended up singing most of them, or we sang some of them together, and Paul McLeod sang on some of those songs too. I think also, sometimes it's just, if you have a song, at some songs that you don't write, you can really identify with and get behind them. Other songs you can't necessarily, for whatever reason. And so I think for us, that's always important, because you want to feel like that connection. And I know I said this about Debris. That's a song that I was playing, and of course we both knew it, but I was playing it one day, and it just, and I know I was playing it because I thought, well, I know this is a song Andy could really wrap his laughing gear around. And sure enough, it was. And but songs you write, that doesn't it doesn't always translate that way, and it's also a good challenge, I think I said before, I would write songs that I wouldn't necessarily be able to sing. Like I didn't write songs with the intention of singing them. I wrote songs with the intention of writing songs, and sometimes I can sing them, sometimes I can't, and sometimes Andy sung them, sometimes Jesse sung them, and I've written songs with other people, and that's such a compliment to have someone sing your song.
Yeah, for sure. And it's nice to be able to give that to somebody and be humble enough to say, no, I don't really need to do this one. It's over to you, Or
I can't.
But this one, you're singing leads, Andy's singing backups.
Yeah.
So maybe we could hear a bit of it in studio, acoustic style.
Love to.
Absolutely. I am the employee of the men. I stand in awe at the altar of this gift. I stand in awe at the edge of the abyss. Leave all those worries, they're all in vain. It's all for nothing. I just start again. I am the employee of the men. I stand in awe
the altar of this gift, I stand in awe at the edge of the abyss.
That's such a great song that you can sing around a campfire or in a kitchen party, like I was saying at the top there. And a lot of your songs are songs that can translate to that. Is it important to you that your songs are super singable and super playable for anybody in a way? I mean,
important. I don't know. I think because ideally, most of our songs can work acoustically, like the two of us can do them, and if we can do them, anyone can do them, like I think because when we're writing or when we get together, when we come together to play each other's songs, it's mostly with guitar, occasionally with piano, but mostly with guitar, so
yeah,
I think they often translate that way.
Yeah.
And we love melody, and melody is what drives people to want to sing along.
Makes people happy.
Yeah, makes me happy.
Totally. And in today, you didn't have the banjo, which is on the song that's on the record. But I think about the banjo in a situation like a kitchen party or something, how it just cuts through everything.
Well, it's funny because we did a couple of tours of Holland and Belgium in the late '90s. And we had an agent over there who brought us over. His name was Rudolph. And Rudolph had been I think a road manager for Motorhead.
And a reindeer.
Yeah, and what?
And a reindeer. Sorry.
And he carried a stun gun on his person.
Oh wow!
But at the end of our second tour there, we're sitting. I remember we're in Belgium. We're sitting having a beer with Rudolph, and just talking, going over the tour, and it was fun, but it wasn't. We weren't drawing great crowds or anything. But Rudolph looks at us and he goes, "You know what you need?" I go, "No, Rudolph. You know what you need?" "No. What do we need, Rudolph?" "You need more fucking banjo."
Don't hear that every day.
Like, okay. So, needless to say, that was our last tour of Belgium and the Netherlands. But
wow.
That was so we're that one goes out to you, Rudolph, wherever you may be.
So, I'm assuming this title is a wordplay on Employee of the Month, but it's Employee of the Myth. What is the myth?
The title was taken from an episode of the David Letterman show, My Next Guest Needs No Introduction.
Oh, yeah.
And he did an episode, which I think maybe it was season 2 of that show, with Shah Rukh Khan, who is a Bollywood actor, film actor, and film producer. I mean, he's like a huge Bollywood star. And Letterman interviewed him, I think, in one part in New York, and then he went to India and interviewed him there. And he at one point, they walk out onto his balcony. He lived in, I don't know if it's a mansion or a house or an apartment complex or whatever it was, but there were thousands of fans waiting for him to walk out on the balcony, and they'd go nuts. And Letterman walks back in, and he's saying like, how do you deal with that's just like insane? And he said, "I consider myself the employee of the myth." And I just thought that's a cool idea. And of course, the obvious is employee that's an easy connection and an obvious one, but it was just something that resonated with me as a title. And that was during the pandemic that I watched it. And Joel Stewart and I, our producer,
Yes.
were often walking during the pandemic, and I had told him this story, and just thought, what a great title for something, maybe whatever, and podcast, song, whatever, and so that's where it came from.
But you've turned it into something larger than just that, too. I mean, the whole concept of the song, it has that kind of, you're looking out over the precipice of maybe life. I'm not sure, you're standing in awe.
Yeah. I mean, I know, certainly, as I sort of started thinking about it, and what does it mean, employee of the myth, like you think about, what is fame, what is, but what, all these different things. So it was, a lot of it, the idea, I think, in the end was just how fleeting time is, and fleeting our time in, in this ride that we're on,
Definitely.
So that was sort of where, but also with the intention of it being kind of like an upbeat number, and which, it is, and Daniel really, he's really steps into it.
In your humble beginnings, were either of you ever an employee of the month?
Not to my knowledge.
Not eligible for that. I don't think I was ever an employee long enough to be an employee of the month.
But you did have jobs. You did have a job together. Were you working at a flower shop together at some point?
Yeah, that's true.
It was a mail order flower bulb business.
It's called Crookshanks. It was Toronto. It's a very old Toronto business. Started, I think, in maybe the 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the house, Clarence Crookshank and his wife started it, and their kids took it over, and they had a house/shop on Mount Pleasant, just north of Eglinton. And when I moved back from England with the band that I played with, I arrived home and opened up the employment ads in the back of the Star, and saw this place, phoned and went in for an interview. I interviewed with Clarence Crookshank, who was 94 at the time, and I got the job. It was seasonal work. It was like it was the shipping department, and they'd place an order. The order would be assembled, and then we would pack it, and it would be mailed out. That's what we were. We were
Pierre
shippers,
Burton was a
receivers.
client.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. You joined after?
I did. Yeah, Josh got me.
Josh got you the job.
Josh got me the job.
I met my wife Ruth at Crookshanks.
No way.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But then you wrote a song based on your job there. I think this song is based on that. A Penny More, where you kind of theorize about asking for a raise.
Right. I've never asked anybody for a raise in my life.
But if you had,
so I wrote a song about asking for a raise. Yeah.
Would you be able to play us some of that now?
Absolutely.
For sure.
That'd be great. A Penny More from Restless, 1992.
Where were you in 92?
Good question.
The company man was singing the most beautiful song. I wasn't thinking, so I just sang along. Will not give you a penny more than you deserve. I don't know why you bother asking anymore. All of your charm couldn't make me change my mind. I will not give you a penny more than you deserve. Higher, you take me where I want to go. Higher, you take me where I want to go. lover. No one compares to you.
Thanks, you guys. It's a beautiful song, A Penny More. I've heard a story, a fun fact about this song is that Gord Downie, when he played with the Hip on SNL in, I don't know which year, maybe around early mid-90s, when would that have been that they played on SNL, you guys?
93, 94, somewhere in around there.
At the end of playing their song Nautical Disaster, they quoted this song, A Penny More. Gord quoted this song, stepped up to the mic as kind of an afterthought almost and quoted this song. Were you guys aware of that at the time when it happened? And
Oh yeah. We weren't watching it together, but we were both watching it.
Yeah,
that was very cool.
Yeah,
I was at a party being hosted by Gord's brother Mike and his partner Caroline. And they lived at the time on Mutual Street, just north of Gerrard. And there was a whole bunch of us there to have a party and watch the broadcast together. And I don't think anybody else really noticed, but my jaw kind of hit the floor when he sang, "Oh Lover, no one compares to you."
I bet. That's great. Well, he was always one to give good shout-outs to his mates,
Absolutely.
right? And
and continues to do so.
That's right. Well, thanks, you guys.
The album is called Bide Your Time. The band is Skydiggers, and this has been Employee of the Myth. Employee of the Myth is hosted by Jane Gowan and recorded at Blue Rodeo's Woodshed Studio in Toronto, Ontario. The podcast is engineered by Tim Vesely, edited by Jane Gowan, and mixed by Tim Vesely and Jane Gowan. If you enjoyed this conversation, please rate, review, share, subscribe, and play it loud. My name is Joel Stewart. Thanks for listening.
Don't look to me for the answer. I don't know nothing anymore. I'll do my best in the meantime and wonder what it's been for. Je t'aime toujours, mon amour. Je t'aime toujours, mon amour.
Spartacus.
I was down. We couldn't wait to say Spartacus.